If you don't already know, I like to geek out a bit on how things are made. We are so separated from the production side of things that most of us have no idea how rugs are woven or minerals are turned into pigments for paint. So, just like the desire to support our farmers and know where our food comes from, I want to understand what goes into turning raw materials into the stuff we use to build and adorn our homes. Today, I'm talking with Guy and Breda Kellner of Paris Ceramics, makers of the most beautiful flooring and fireplace surrounds and wall treatments. From a slow style perspective, there's a lot to love about this company. Because of where and how they source their stone and wood, they value the essence of place, giving us the history and geology of specific places to bring back into our homes. They value sustainability in terms of respecting the limitations of our natural resources, and they value community in terms of hiring, training, and retaining the craftspeople that produce these beautiful products. You could probably tell I'm kind of in love. Today, we're going to learn all about what it takes to transform a slab of stone or reclaimed stone into the tiles and surface treatments we drool over in the showrooms and projects of our favorite designers. Breda and Guy Kellner, welcome to the Slow Style Home podcast.
Excellent. Thank you. That was such a great introduction. I love it. I have to steal your verbiage to send out to people.
Please
Excellent.
do.
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
do.
thanks. Thanks.
Nice to be here.
What are the main things that you create, and what is your deeper mission in terms of putting beauty out into the world?
Yes, yes. Well, they're in this world, as you know, we say a lot of companies want to become bigger and they therefore become all things to all people, right? Like
Mm,
Target, you can go there and you can get dish detergent and a lipstick and a
right.
vacuum cleaner.
You can get wallpaper there.
You can get wallpaper there, right? You just can't get stone flooring there yet.
Right.
No, I don't want them to. So, so I feel we have stayed very true to our mission. And believe me, we have a lot of suppliers knocking on the door all the time, but we've stayed true to the mission of if it's handmade or if it's natural
Okay.
because that is a very large body of work anyway, but
Sure.
it's simple to say. If it's handmade or if it's natural, please think of us. So
Okay.
wood, stone, and then hand painted tile products, which are made out of natural clay.
Guy,
Yeah.
do you want to add anything?
Yeah, the only thing I would add to it is what we don't want to do, what we are fighting against. And what we
Yes.
are fighting against is really porcelain, which is, in my humbled opinion, it's a trend, not a philosophy and not a direction. Natural stone, Brida is absolutely right. If it's natural stone or if it's handmade, we're interested. And, porcelain is neither. And it might be in the world for the next 100 years, but it will not look like the stone on the step of the church in southern Italy or in north of France when you walk up the stairs and you look at them and you can see the indentation into the stairs, and he said, "Oh my God, this is 500 years of people walking
Yes.
up the stairs."
Yes.
Porcelain would look exactly the same, and I believe won't be there in 100 years.
It is cheaper. And, from a builder's perspective or from a cautious homeowner's perspective, aside from cost, there is no risk. You know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bought white bread from Thomas,
Yeah.
and I open it up and every piece is exactly white bread.
Right.
You buy a granular bread that's got walnuts and cranberries in it from the baker. Yeah, maybe every piece doesn't have the same amount of nuts and walnuts in it,
Right. Right.
cranberries in it.
Right.
So that's really what it is, that it's totally, totally predictable.
So, clarify for us because porcelain, there are uses of like craftspeople make bowls out of porcelain. And is this issue with porcelain specific to tile and flooring?
Yes, specifically flooring.
Okay.
The biggest issue when people come and said, we're thinking about porcelain, I just say to them, in 5 years from now, when your grandson drops the ball on the floor and chip one or three of those porcelain floors, and you call the people you bought it from and you said, "Can I get three pieces to replace?" They're going to say, "I'm sorry, this line is eliminated. We
Right.
have a better color now." Well, but
Right.
I don't want a better color. We stone, natural stone aged beautifully.
Right. Right. Okay. Great. Thank you for clarifying that. Um, one of the things I love about what you do, and I really don't, I can't even wrap my head around how you manage to do that, is you salvage materials from old buildings, usually in Europe, which, I mean, environmentally, that's fantastic, but it also means you're saving the culture and the history and all that kind of stuff. How do you do that? Tell us from the beginning, what is that process about?
Sure. The ethos is really to practice green practices. Why do we keep taking out of the earth resources when they are available? Natural stone is taking in quarries out of the earth. And these are buildings predominantly in France and in Spain that we go and they are ready to be demolished
Mm,
and we take the stone out rather than have it crushed and go to the garbage.
right.
So the number one reason behind it is that we believe ethically that this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And about 20 to 25% of our business is in reclaimed materials.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not the only one that do it, but I believe we do it very well. And we have a factory in America that we cut the stone here. So
Okay.
the way it's being done is we work through some local antique dealers, which are some of the shrewdest people, business people I've ever worked with. I walk in there with no wallets because they just take it off me. But they're phenomenal human beings. I really like them. We spec the material. We go to the locations. I don't even know how to call the yards, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And we pick material and we buy what we like and we don't buy what we don't like. As you can see, if you flip through some of the pictures, this is actual house that we took it out of. You will see the size of some of these um, um,
Mm.
slabs are
Hmm.
huge, and they are 7 or 8 or 9 inches thick, some of them. So we bring, right, you can see it here. So we bring them into America in a container. We have a factory in Virginia, and we cut it. And then when you talk about craftsmanship, we
Mm.
have people that have been with us for 15 to 22 years
Mm.
that know how to brush this material, bring it to life, and cut it to a smaller pieces that will fit into American homes, and yet will have the real look and feel, the patina of
Mm.
what this was originally made for. This, by the way, is extraordinary. It's a second floor. Sometimes I'm amazed with
Oh.
how they load this stuff up on the
Oh,
floor 150 or 200 years ago.
right. Backbreaking
Right.
work.
Backbreaking, well before cranes and whatnot were lifting in. What I also find remarkable here is that the packaging of it, when it's all bundled together, it looks quite ugly. But once it's been, trimmed and cleaned up in our factory and made for the home, and then installed, obviously, it just looks fabulous.
This particular building was in France, but most of the checkerboards that we bring are from Spain.
Oh, okay.
So in Spain, 150, 200 years ago, the rich and famous would put checkerboard in the entrance hall,
Yes.
and they would do some pretty straightforward installation of checkerboards, but would have extraordinarily marble. And the significant thing about it is that in the back of that material, it's hand chiseled stone. Now,
Oh,
they didn't have the saws to cut the back.
sure.
They did cut the front and they polish it and finish it, but it was a waste of their time to cut the back.
That's how we know it was old and authentic and handcrafted.
What's significant about this, I think, is that if you think about it, 150 years ago, somebody very, very creative and very avant-garde
Yeah.
sat there in a house in Spain and says, I'm not going to do the usual traditional checkerboards. I'm going to be a designer. And I just
Yes.
loved it. I thought this was most exquisite entrance into the house.
For those of you who are just listening, can you just describe it for us? What are we looking at here?
I think it's a geometric pattern that is outlined in white and black, and then the center is the alternate color.
Yeah, I love that you bring up this point, Guy, that somebody decided to be a designer. I mean, this is you work with this gorgeous material, you do start getting ideas in your head about, oh, wouldn't this look cool? And they were doing that hundreds of years ago.
By
Yeah.
the way, this stone is sitting now in a gorgeous house in Dallas, Texas.
Let's look at one more. So this, what are we looking at here? You can see it's an
Yeah, so
old home.
very, very traditional Spanish home.
Hmm.
This is a two floors house that when you walked in, this was the entrance hall.
Oh,
This was stone that was damaged actually pretty heavily. And we brought it
okay.
into Virginia. And again, the people that work with us have done, a particular guy that does it is Felicio. He's 72 years old.
Oh,
He's from Honduras originally, and he's a phenomenal craftsman. And he brings
oh.
material back to life, and just absolutely amazing.
Well, when you see where these are coming from, you see why it's worth it to salvage them.
100%.
Let's talk about craftsmanship a little bit. I know that that's really important to you. What goes into making, let's say, a kitchen or an entryway? I mean, what kind of work are we talking about here?
There's three dimensions, if you may, to that. The first dimension is cutting. So you got to cut it to the specifications of the designer or the architect. And cutting is also thickness. We do a lot of milling when we
Oh,
reduce the thickness of the material. The
okay.
second dimension is the finishes. So we do quite a bit of brushing and changing the surface of the stone to make it look and feel older or to make it look and feel more contemporary. Depends on
Hmm.
how you want it. And the third one is patterns. When a designer want to create floors, they can come to us and we can do it for them.
Hmm.
It is definitely on the more expensive side of flooring, but we will make it to order. And if you go to any of our phenomenal competitors like Ann Sachs or other companies, you can only buy what's there.
Hmm.
That means that when you walk into your house on Palm Beach to your next door neighbor, you might see the same thing.
Yes,
That's not why
indeed.
you hire this expensive designer. You brought
Right,
a
right,
designer here to create something unique, special that fits what your family is all about.
right.
We will match their desires with floorings. This is a particular floor. So this is Mystic Gray and Mystic White. These are
Hmm.
fantastic stones that we bring in. It's on a not expensive material. It's not Carrara or Calacata. And we cut it in Virginia. And if you go to the other photos, you will see how it was actually installed.
So here we see the in-between tiles.
That's right. When it's installed.
Wow, isn't that gorgeous?
Right.
I know,
So
isn't it spectacular? And it's so custom. There is
Yes.
no other floor like that in any other house in America.
Oh, it's just beautiful. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah.
So for those of you who are just listening, gosh, how do you even describe this?
It's almost as if you melted white stone or candle wax and pressed in little rounded diamond shapes. It's really cool.
So tell us a little bit about the Greek key pattern.
Sure. So this is actually on a driveway. And, who would do this in a driveway but someone that just has a love
Driveway.
affair? Yes. And
Wow.
it's actually a Greek couple. And the stone, the light stone, the field, as we call it, is, very beautiful unto itself. But this goes around the border of the driveway.
So
And
now we see a
as
bigger photo of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a Regency style home, and this surrounds the motor court, and
Wow.
it's stunning, isn't it? And you can see it from the street
Yeah. It's
beyond.
stunning.
Yeah. So just to talk about that for a second, the stone in the quarry comes from a block and it gets sliced into slabs and it imports into Norfolk and we take it to the factory and then we start cutting the pieces and then we send them to the job site and the installer has numbered
Right.
pieces 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way around.
Right.
There's probably about 200 modules here going around this driveway and they just have to, throw it down and install it
Yeah.
and do what they do
Wow.
best. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Okay, now talk to us about this project. This is, I mean, it's a gorgeous curved wall around a fireplace. It's just, wow.
this is a stone that comes from the Mont Blanc mountain in France. It's on the bottom of Mont Blanc. This quarry is open 4 or 5 months out of the year because the
Mm.
rest of the time it's frozen.
Okay.
It's one of the only stones that we would call blue. It is a
Mm,
gray. Here it looks like gray, but it does have a lot of blue colors to it. It
okay.
is an architect and a designer in Minneapolis that were tasked of doing a 6,000 square feet apartment in Telluride. This was about 170 slabs. He came to Farmville, I can't tell you how many times in Virginia, and he also flew to France and saw the blocks, and we numbered every slab, and he designed it that on the floor there would be flow of the
Right.
material, and you can see this veining in the material, and he
Yes.
worked very hard that there would be harmony from slab to slab. So we didn't install cut stone there, we installed slabs. It's
Yes.
amazing.
It is amazing.
And the curved wall, he designed no corners in this particular apartment.
Oh,
We had to curve each piece by taking the outer side of it first and then taking the inner side, because otherwise it's way too heavy to install
oh,
walls.
okay. So now we can see the sort of how it's hollowed out on the inside as well.
This was a masterpiece, with no doubt.
You can kind of see the curve.
The back end of it, yeah.
The back end. This is, under construction. Um, Before I let you go, let's dispel a couple of myths about materials because people are kind of afraid of, one of the reasons they want porcelain or they want something that's not porous. They want something that's, I don't
Maintenance
know.
free, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. People come in to our showrooms and they say, conceptually, I love limestone. They've been on vacation in Europe and it looks amazing. But then they come in and they are intimidated because they've done their own research and they say, oh my gosh, it's high maintenance. I don't want to have high maintenance and I don't want any risk of any, stains, or I don't want to really take care and I don't really want to. But when we really discuss this with them, first of all, there's really nothing like limestone.
Mm,
That's why people still want it.
mhm.
There's nothing like Pierre Frey fabric on your
Right.
couch, but you still want it. And guess what? I'm sitting on that couch. I might spill, a glass of Coke or red wine or my coffee. We don't put plastic on the couch. You got to live with the beauty. And you do have to maintain. And so, of course, like anything, fabrics you can, stain proof and stone too. So we do advise, of course, to seal it,
Mhm.
and that will give you lifelong beauty. But I do remind people that there is limestone in the streets of Spain, Portugal, France, all over the place for 700 years.
Right.
And it's
Right.
still there. And when something breaks, they just replace it or they bond it together. It's all absolutely fixable. Everything is
Yeah.
fixable.
Yeah.
Even if you get a significant stain on it, guess what? You can call somebody in the next day and they can buff it out.
Mhm.
It's a big myth that it's not something that I want to live with. Au
Right.
contraire, it can always be brought back to the way it was on day one. And it also has soul and depth. I've been in houses where people have done all porcelain. A hotel. I think a hotel is a perfect example. You walk into the lobby of the Perry Lane Hotel in Savannah, Georgia. Evroco did that. And it is full of Neramarquina and full of character. It's a natural stone,
Mhm.
full of character, full of life. The rooms, the bathrooms, they're all marble. That's what brings the elevated experience. It is why I would go and stay at the Perry Lane Hotel rather than the Marriott around the corner, which when I walk into the lobby, safe. They put in porcelain. They got their beautiful furniture that can be changed out and swapped out. But you got porcelain floors. There's no depth. There's no
No.
soul. I'm
No.
not sitting there with my legs crossed, reading my newspaper, having a glass of champagne, looking down at the floor, being like, how gorgeous. I'm like, oh God. And that's not just me because I'm in the business. That's a lot of
No, it's
people.
not just you. I mean,
I
there's just
know.
so much variation in it and history and story. Quickly, tell us the story you were saying about the berries falling down on a
Oh
patio.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'll have a landscape architect, recent story, and these are every other week we have a conversation like this. Listen, I have a client and they want to put, natural stone out on their pool deck, and it is in Florida, and they've got, the weeping trees, and there's a couple berries on them and lots of berries. And they fear that the berries will fall off, and if it falls and it gets squished, it's going to stain the stone, right? Yeah, it's going to stain the stone. Oh, they don't like that. They're going to do porcelain. Okay, so they're going to do porcelain and live with substandard look of an entirely uniform, looks the same from day one to year 10, no character, no personality, or they're going to have some berries that are in the trees and now there's some squashed into the stone. What's the difference?
Yeah,
Have berryless trees? No, I want berryless. I want berry trees
right.
because the berries are really pretty and the tree is really pretty. Yeah. The stone is just an extension of nature.
Absolutely. It's all natural. It is the passage of time. It is style, it is evolving.
Right.
All of the things that I
All
really
of the
believe
things.
in. And that's how I want to live too.
That's right.
I
That's
know you
right.
guys have to go. I'm sorry because I could talk to you for at least another 5 hours.
Well, thank you. This is so pleasurable. I loved it.
Good,
I loved it. This is so
good.
fun.
Excellent. Guy, thank you as well.
Thank you so much for your time, Sandra.